An esteemed runner and running coach, John Monheim walks the walk, or should we say runs the run, as a state champion leader for the Perrysburg girls cross country team. His efforts have earned him inclusion as one of the top coaches of the BCSN era, presented by First Solar. Mason Lowry joined Monheim to hear his story.
Distance running is such an incredibly grueling thing. I have such admiration for people that do it because I know I sure as heck can't. How did you get started, and what really drew you to it?
My father was a runner, and he convinced my brother and I as youngsters to run with him occasionally, and we kind of got the bug. So we ran in high school, had a great coach in high school that respected the heck out of and kind of gave me that love for the sport. And then I was fortunate enough to be decent enough in high school to have the opportunity to run at Bowling Green, and I ran for a legendary coach there, Sid Sink, who just instilled some great things in me that once I got into the education field, I knew I wanted to get in the coaching field and continue doing the running thing, and from a different side of it.
I think one of the coolest things is that not only have you gone on to run in marathons, but you've gotten to do it alongside your twin brother, correct?
Yeah.
And your dad.
Yep.
What an extraordinary experience that must be.
Yeah. One of my dad's dreams was to run Boston at the same time my brother and I ran, and my dad qualified. It's a marathon you have to qualify for. You can't just enter. My dad qualified as a 75-year-old, I believe he was at the time, and my brother didn't have any trouble qualifying. It was work for me to qualify because I've gained a few pounds since the college days, and
haven't we all?
But I was able to qualify at a marathon in Erie, Pennsylvania, and then we got to run Boston together. So it was a highlight.
Do you have a favorite of the marathons you've taken part in? Is it Boston because of the family connection?
That was cool, but I would only need to do Boston once. It's a logistical nightmare. Chicago's the best marathon I've run. The crowds are unbelievable, and it's flat and it's fast, and it falls at a great time of year.
As a coach, you've won 2 state championships with Perrysburg girls cross country in the last 3 years. Was it more difficult to win the first one, or was it more difficult to keep the standard high enough to do it again?
I think the first one was a little more unexpected. We were ranked 3rd or 4th in the state going in, and the 2 teams that were ahead of us had beaten us several times during the course of the year. It was more surprising. This time around, we had done it before, and we had several girls who had been on the team that did it the first time. So it wasn't easy, but it certainly, I would say they were both very, very similar. I mean, they were very similar races, and the way things shook out were almost identical on both days.
As you can imagine, logistically, it is very, very difficult to mount a television broadcast of a cross-country meet of any kind. It's not something that we've been able to do really in our 20-year history, but I'm so proud of the fact that we've gotten your cross-country teams on at our BCSN Honors. You were on it a couple of years ago after winning that first state championship. We've done pieces in the past on your program success. Knowing that we're not really able to put meets on TV, what has it meant for your girls and for yourself to get the coverage that we have been able to give you?
Oh, I can tell you that the first one we won in 21, we got to come here the day after the state meet, so less than 24 hours after winning it, and the girls were still, jacked up and excited, and we had 8 girls here and myself, and they felt like this was the big time, and for a high school athlete to get that experience was pretty sweet. And then we did the honors, the sports team honors, and you guys chose us to win that honor and to have the girls there for the afternoon, and they loved it. They were dressed up, they were ready to go, they enjoyed the awards, they enjoyed the Mudhens game afterwards, and then this year we were driving home from Columbus, and I got a message from our athletic director that said, hey, BCSN wants to meet the team when you guys get back, and we had probably a throng of a couple hundred people, and that was big in itself, but then to have BCSN there to interview the girls, and it made something that was super important to them feel even more important. So it was much appreciated.